Power Rangers S.P.D, the TV show. This season of Power Rangers, I gotta say, surprised me. When I was younger, I did not like this show. The theme song when I was a little kid pulled me out of it. I'm like, I don't want to watch Power Rangers no more. I'm getting too old for it. I rewatched the series. This is a fantastic series. Now, let me talk about some complaints I have. There is a big kind of like lore issue at the beginning because after the events of Dino Thunder, 25 years later into the future, we get Power Rangers SPD. So aliens are now welcome citizens of Earth in 25 years, and some humans have mutations, have abilities, and all that stuff. So in 25 years, SPD is around. I would have said, okay, SPD's in the future, but it's not too far into the future, and it's not too soon. 25 years, I get it's a kid's show, but it just doesn't make sense. And then let's talk about the villain, the Emperor Grum. Apparently, he conquered all the entire other galaxies in the universe, and Earth is the only last place left. I guess the events of Lost Galaxy don't count either. I guess he conquered the Lost Galaxy Rangers. I'm sorry, this is an issue with the lore. I'm sorry, I don't think Emperor Grum should have conquered all the galaxy. I think the person who wrote the season of Power Rangers, at least for the backstory, they had an idea what they wanted to do for Power Rangers SPD, but the problem is, though, they didn't pay attention to what came before. But let's talk about Power Rangers SPD. There's Space Patrol Delta. They are the cops. They are the Power Rangers. And in not too distant future, aliens and humans are working together. They live together and all this stuff. And Power Rangers SPD is supposed to protect people, protect individuals, protect aliens, and to sort the bad aliens and make sure that they go away. What I love about the show, when the Power Rangers beat up villains and all that stuff, they arrest them. They have like this badging to sign some guilty or innocent, and then they'll arrest them, and then they don't destroy them, but they're locked in prison basically, and their prison card and all that stuff, and then they're transported to SPD and they serve their time. So there is a nice level of authority, and it takes a new stance about what Power Rangers do other than, you know, destroying the villains. They just imprison them now, which is a very unique taste. Very unique take, and I really didn't like it. Now, let's talk about before I get into Power Rangers, let me talk about the best thing about Power Rangers SPD. This is hands down Doggy Kruger, the leader of SPD, of Space Patrol Delta. He is the best mentor the Power Rangers ever had. I absolutely love him. He's better than Zordon to me. He has a personal connection to Emperor Grum. He lost his planet to Emperor Grum, and he vows not to let Earth fall. So he's built SPD around this, and he's trained. He's training the Power Rangers, and he trained them to learn lessons so they could fight Emperor Grum. And he always says, like, what happens if I'm not here? Who's going to be next up in the line to take the stand? You can't keep relying on me to always bail you out. You got to stand up on your own Rangers. And I really like Doggy Kruger. Doggy Kruger is probably the best Power Ranger mentor. Best, probably the Sixth Ranger, but even though I don't really count him as a Sixth Ranger because he's just a great character. Doggy Kruger is one of the best Power Ranger characters of all time. And he's my favorite mentor of the Power Rangers. So Doggy Kruger and his past with Emperor Grum, pretty dang cool. Again, let's talk about the Rangers. We got Sky. Sky is the Blue Ranger who always wants to be the Red Ranger. And there's a reason as to why with his personal backstory. And he has a nice, good connection with the Red Ranger, Jack. Jack, along with the Yellow Ranger, Z, they are basically work on the streets. They're helping people and all that stuff, but they're basically breaking the law. They're doing illegal stuff to help people. Doggy Kruger sees potential in them, makes them Rangers. They don't always get along with their SPD counterparts, but they start to grow a good bond. The Sky and Jack, they have a good relationship with one another. They don't they are complete opposites from one another. Jack is very laid back. He doesn't really care to be an SPD Ranger. He's just doing it to help people and all that stuff. It's not his life goal to be a part of SPD. Sky, he just wants to be an SPD Ranger. He wants to be the Red Ranger. He wants to fulfill something to his father. He wants to be the best of the best. So they have two different type of characters, but they just are very well done together. They have a great connection with each other. They both learn to respect one another, and I really do enjoy the relationship together. Now, Z, the Yellow Ranger, she's very compassionate about the people of Earth. She's very compassionate about the people around her, whether they're aliens or humans, and she's just a very compassionate person. There's not much to her character. We got Sid, who is the freaking Pink Ranger, and Sid is just a stereotypical blonde, spoiled, rich girl who learns not to be too spoiled and to be thankful for the things she has. So there you go. That's basically the Pink Ranger. Nothing too special about her. What I also like about the season was the Green Ranger. The Green Ranger is kind of like Dustin and kind of like Connor. He's just dumb as dumb, but he has heart. He has a lot of heart that's very unique, and he's just has this feel about him that he could become a potential great ranger. Just like Joel from Lightspeed Rescue, he has the potential to become a great leader. He may be dumb in a sense, but his unique look in life and his unique viewpoint of life, it makes him kind of smarter in rangers in other circumstances. He brings his own unique taste to being a Green Ranger. So I love the Green Ranger. I think he's a very well done bridge, is awesome. And again, Doggy Kruger's great. The villain, Emperor Grum, he's more or less like, oh, I like the fact that they explain why Emperor Grum cannot take over the Rangers and their planet. He basically needs to build up his forces. He needs to build up material. And throughout the entire season, there's a constant continuality with the whole, like, for the storyline of, like, why does Emperor Grum destroy us now? Why doesn't he invade? Because he's been trying to take raw material from Earth so he can build this ultimate weapon to destroy the Rangers and to invade Earth. And then it's nicely well done. Also, I love his relationship with this one side villain, and her name is Moira, or when she turns older, Morgana. They have a very unique stance. I love Moira, the little girl, more. This little girl that helps Grum build monsters and all this stuff, which is very interesting and very well done. And I enjoy the relationship together when she's around the little girl. When she gets older, then it kind of takes away from the enjoyment. And overall, they work well together. They have a good chemistry with each other, and there's a nice little comedy banter that reminds me of Lord Zed and Rita in many cases. Not, but even though, Lord Zed and Rita were married and all this stuff, but still. Emperor Grum with Moira, great chemistry with each other, made me laugh. They're not the best villains in the world, but I like their style, I like their look, I like the feel of them. And I do like an Emperor Grum. He's not a great Power Ranger villain by no way, shape, or form. He's not the greatest one of all time. But what is so great about this season of Power Rangers, it's very consistent. And its theme is that inclusion of all people and all races and all species. And about individual choices about how they want to be different. And the Rangers as a team work well together. Again, the fact that they're led by the best Power Ranger mentor of all time, Doggy Kruger, just shows a lot. So to me, Power Rangers S.P.D. is utterly fantastic. I was pleasantly surprised when I rewatched it. I do enjoy the theme song now. Again, when you're a kid, you're a kid. And when now I'm rewatching the series and I'm seeing all this stuff, Power Ranger S.P.D. has a special place in my heart right now. I really did enjoy Power Ranger S.P.D. Had a very unique take. Certain things I think they messed up with the lore, like I said at the beginning of the video. But I really did enjoy Power Rangers SPD. I enjoyed Doggy Kruger. I enjoyed the Red Ranger and the Blue Ranger's relationship. I enjoyed the Green Ranger. Pink Ranger's just there. The Yellow Ranger's also just there, but I like her better than the Pink. The villains, when they were together, they just made each other better. Individually, not so much. They were great, but again, to me, Power Rangers SPD, it was just a very consistent episode of developing the team, developing their importance to Earth and how they're going to protect each other, how they're going to protect Earth, how they're going to learn from one another and respect one another. And there's some great other side characters. Who's this? There's this cat woman. I forgot her freaking name. What was her name? I'm blanking out, but to me, she was I think her name was actually Kat, and she's the medical officer. She's also helps the Power Rangers with basically the technology side. They get her a little bit of backstory. They give her assistant to this one dumb dude. They give him a backstory. So they develop the side characters nicely. Well done. They don't brush them to the side. They don't make them feel totally useless. Every character feels useful. And that's what you want from a Power Ranger season, that every single buddy, every single character is useful. Some Rangers are going to be better than others, but overall, I would say SPD did a solid job with the Ranger team. They had a decent villains and all that stuff, and overall, the plotline wasn't too extravagant, but it overall was consistently good season. When the high points were high, they were high, and I don't really find a single bad episode with Power Ranger SPD, and that says a lot about Power Ranger SPD for being consistent. Because I could always have I could always look back at my Morphin. Yeah, that was a dumb episode. Yeah, that's a skippable episode. I could look back at Dino Thunder. I could look back at Wild Force. I could look back at Lightspeed Rescue. That okay, maybe this episode wasn't needed. Maybe this was a missed episode. With S.P.D, I just felt it very consistent. Either they were just good or they were just great. I mean, the standard for them was always just good. There never was an okay episode. There never was a bad episode. To me, Power Ranger S.P.D was a consistently good season that made itself great and made it one of the best Power Ranger seasons of all time. But that's my personal opinion, everybody. What y'all think? Do you think Power Rangers S.P.D, the season, was a terrible season? Do you think it was a great season? Did you rewatch the series in your job? Or you think Doggy Kruger's not the best mentor of the Power Rangers? Is Zordon still your favorite? Please let me know what y'all think, everyone. Angel Lee's offered everybody. Bye.